Hello there and welcome back. In today's video, we are going to be doing a Sacramento Kings season preview. Now, this is a big season for the Sacramento Kings. They have a few more pieces in place on this roster. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. At the point guard spot, we have De'Aaron Fox. No surprises there. He was an absolute stud last season. Tyrese Haliburton, the second-year man out of Iowa State, is the two guard. Really, no surprise there as well, just considering that Buddy Hield could be on his way out potentially, but we will get to that a little later on in the video. Harrison Barnes at the 3, followed by Marvin Bagley at the 4, and Richaun Holmes at the 5. A lot of people thought that Richaun Holmes was going to take off this offseason, ends up staying with Sacramento on that extension. So there's a lot to like about what you see here. The Sacramento Kings are trying to build something. They haven't made the postseason since 2006, which I know a lot of Kings fans are aware of that stat, that number. It's really tough to be a Kings fan, especially over the last 14, 15 years, just considering where their franchise has been. But they are building something for sure. De'Aaron Fox is an absolute star. You can count on him. Definitely a guy that can be a premier scorer in this league. And Tyrese Haliburton was the surprise of last year's draft class, just considering how well he played. If you look at kind of his numbers, he had 13 points per game, and he also was shooting about 41% from three. Really impressive numbers from the rookie. Harrison Barnes has fit in very nicely with the Sacramento Kings team. Definitely hasn't really lost a step. He's had a nice career so far with Golden State, Dallas, and also Sacramento. A lot to like about him at the 3. And Marvin Bagley, he isn't exactly what people thought he was going to be. However, he can be a nice big in this league. I think he's going to continue to develop as well. And Richaun Holmes, every single year we know he is going to keep improving. I like him as their 5. And now, kind of transitioning from that starting lineup, let's kind of look at some of the potential key contributors to this team. Now, Buddy Hield is the big name to highlight off the bench, just considering he is a starter level player. But with the success of Tyrese Haliburton, I think Haliburton is going to continue to get better and really prove that he deserves to be in that starting lineup. And it's a really tough call between him and Buddy Hield, but Buddy Hield is going to be phenomenal off the bench for the Kings this season. Definitely brings that scorer's mentality to that second unit. And he is going to be helped out by two guys that are pretty nice defensively. Tristan Thompson, a nice rebounder, key contributor off the bench for this team. And also Davion Mitchell, the rookie from Baylor, the point guard that's got a lot of heart. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, was stated by actually De'Aaron Fox, just because he's been able to see so far in preseason and in camp. He is an absolute dog on the defensive end. We talk a lot about the NBA draft on our channel. Davion Mitchell was one of the key guys that we wanted to highlight because of how talented he is defensively. He also can shoot the 3 ball as well effectively. It was kind of an anomaly from his career in college, the first couple of years to his final year, because he really shot that 3 ball well. I think he was close to that 43% mark at the collegiate level. There's so much to love about what you're getting in a guy like Davion Mitchell. He's going to be a tough defender. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Patrick Beverley defensively, just a pest. But the thing about Davion Mitchell, he doesn't make as many mistakes as Patrick Beverley. So that's something that you really have to feel confident in moving forward, because Davion Mitchell can help out this team tremendously at the end of games, going on potentially the other team's best scorer. I think even at his size, he is going to win a lot of his one-on-one matchups. They definitely have to consider him being their best perimeter defender and a guy you can trust in late game situations. Davion Mitchell is going to be that contributor. Now, we are going to talk about a Ben Simmons potential trade in this. Reason being, this is a realistic option for the Philadelphia 76ers. Why? Because you do have some of the assets potentially able to send out in a deal like that. Buddy Hield could be one of those names, but obviously they're going to commend a lot for Ben Simmons. That's something we do have to monitor moving forward. I think that could be an option even before the start of the season if they feel that they want to get that done. But the Sacramento Kings are definitely calling on Ben Simmons. I think they should be, at least. I don't know what's really going on behind closed doors. I've heard some reports that they're not even interested. I've heard some reports that they're very interested. It's really hard to figure out and kind of sort through those reports and figure out what is the true interest level with the Sacramento Kings. I think they have had some dialogue with the 76ers pertaining to Ben Simmons. Now, moving on, once again, this is a make or break season for Luke Walton. I think if they don't see significant progress with this team, I think that he will be fired at the end of the season. It's a really tough situation for him just because the roster isn't really at that playoff caliber point so far. And it's really tough in an absolutely loaded Western Conference for them realistically to get into the postseason for one and make a run for two. I just don't see that happening. This roster is not where it needs to be yet at this point in time. There's a lot of heavy hitters in that Western Conference. Some of them are a little banged up heading into the season, but I just don't think that's going to be enough for them to really move forward and truly make the playoffs. And I think that it really depends on what they see from the development of their young players if Luke Walton goes or stays. So I think this is a very, very crucial season for the Sacramento Kings, for Luke Walton. There's going to be some change probably at the end of the season, really depending on how it goes. However, I think that it's about 50-50 whether he stays with this team or not. So huge season for him, huge season for the Kings. And now we're going to transition finally into the win projection for this team. I have them at 37 wins. Last year, they were 31-41 in a 72-game season. And this is really in part by they acquired Davion Mitchell. We should see some progress overall from Tyrese Haliburton. I think that Richaun Holmes is going to take another step, and as well as Marvin Bagley. And, if they trade for Ben Simmons, this is really going to throw this out of whack. We're not exactly sure what that team would look like, what they would have to give up. So just assuming that they don't trade for Ben Simmons, this is kind of what I'm seeing so far from this team. This is kind of what I am expecting from the Sacramento Kings. Now, it's not a knock on them by saying 37 wins, because I think this is a much better team than they have been in the past, have a little more depth to them. Their starting lineup, I like a lot more than the last couple of seasons for the Kings. De'Aaron Fox is an absolute stud. Last year, 25 points per game, 32% from three. So not the exact number that he wants, but the 7.2 assists per game is a good number. Richaun Holmes, once again, made some improvements, especially on the defensive end. He upped his blocks per game to 1.6 blocks per game. And so you are seeing some strides defensively from him as well. He averaged 14 on top of that. And I had already alluded to, the Buddy Hield number of 16 points per game. He also shot 39% from three. Very, very efficient. That's what we know Buddy Hield to be. I really like this team. I just don't think that they are going to be in that upper tier of the Western Conference. Very well could see them in that range of 13 to 15 in terms of the actual seeding when it comes down to it. Maybe they creep up to the 12th spot. I think that's a very possible situation as well. But 37 wins is, I kind of think, is around where they're going to be. I've seen some projections and statistical computer generations, and they think that they very well could go in that 35 and 46 realm with about a 30% chance to make the postseason. So that's something to keep in mind. And that was ran by a computer. So that is, whatever algorithm that they have is kind of how they figured in. So that kind of falls into my line of 37 wins. I think this Kings team, 35 wins to 46, that's what they think they could be. However, I just see them being a 37 win team. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you watching this video. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Also, please leave a like if you like this season preview for the Sacramento Kings. We will be getting you much more NBA content as the season progresses. So thanks again for tuning in, and we will catch you guys in our next video.